Humble Bundle has revoked all of those Indiana Jones keys it gave away for free, even if it was already in your Steam library. This is a friendly reminder that you don't own anything on Steam. Just like the prediction I made in my Say Goodbye to Your Steam library video, it turns out these companies are more than willing and able to remove games from your actual library. Now that they've proven that they do in fact have the ability to remove games from your actual Steam library, why should they be expected to honor any agreement about purchasing the title in the future? Is a company even obligated in any legal sense to furnish you with a reason for discontinuing access to these products? Hello fellow travelers and welcome to the Hard Light Network. Alrighty guys, so a few months ago on this very channel I put out a video talking about licensing, DRM, and the fact that you do not own any of the games that you purchase online. While the vast majority of my viewers met the issue with the appropriate level of outrage, some of you were in denial and a few of you were actually smug and arrogant about it. But that's alright, because here on the Hard Light Network we aim to be magnanimous towards those on the opposite side of the argument. After all, we all get things wrong every once in a while. However, this time it's not actually our turn to admit defeat because it turns out we were actually correct. Just like the prediction I made in my Say Goodbye to Your Steam library video, it turns out these companies are more than willing and able to remove games from your actual library. And no, I'm not exaggerating, and this is not clickbait. It's not about discontinuing games or delisting them. This is a flat-out removal of games that you've already downloaded. But to tell you the honest truth, guys, this is not a magic trick. I'm not an oracle with an all-seeing eye, and I'm certainly not a scientist with a future-predicting algorithm. This is literally just the logical next step of this issue, and I'm honestly just reading to you guys the writing that was on the wall way back in October. But of course, this would not be a Hard Light Network video if I didn't bring it to you straight from the horse's mouth, and we definitely got some reading for you guys today. But before we get into it, you guys know as well as I do that I have to ask you to hit that like button, subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the future content that I've got coming up for you, and also hit the comments section with your outrage down below. Let them know that this is not cool and that they can't continue to get away with this. And of course, that battle begins here with this article entitled, Humble Bundle has revoked all of those Indiana Jones keys it gave away for free, even if it was already in your Steam library. This is a friendly reminder that you don't own anything on Steam. And of course, the article begins as follows. If a deal looks too good to be true, it probably is, especially if the item in question is a digital key for a brand new game that can be swiped away using DRM witchcraft just as easily as it can be activated. That's what happened with Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, which Humble Bundle labeled as free just 2 days ago, prompting a good number of people to pounce on the irresistible bargain. Sadly, Humble Bundle has now revoked all those keys, releasing a statement saying that, quote, due to a mistake in the provided pricing for this game, the game has been incorrectly marked as free. In a move that's understandable, but also reminds us of the ethereal nature of digital ownership. Humble not only deactivated the Steam keys it had given away, but revoked the game even after it had already been activated in players' Steam libraries. Some disappointed players on Reddit even said they started playing the game on Steam, only to log in later and find that it had been pulled from their library. At the time of writing, Indiana Jones The Great Circle has been delisted from Humble Bundle altogether, so maybe some stern words were had with Microsoft or ZeniMax about their latest flagship title being given away for nothing. The laws behind buying mispriced items vary from country to country. In the UK, for instance, if you buy an item in a shop for a lower cost than the vendor intended to sell it, you're entitled to keep that item, assuming you were unaware of the correct price. Online, if a seller realizes they mispriced an item before sending it, they can cancel the order, but usually once it's in your hands, it's yours to keep. But in Indiana Jones' case, those keys are just licenses to play the game under the Steam subscriber agreement, and as we can see, you don't have that much control if a seller or publisher decides they don't want you playing that game on Steam. The joys of DRM, eh? If it's any consolation, you can play Indiana Jones and the Great Circle within your PC Game Pass subscription, which is still a pretty good deal for what our review deems to be a great game. So there you have it, guys, our first example of a AAA title from the modern era being delisted and also removed directly from the libraries of Steam players. But of course, just to preempt a bunch of the nitpicky nerds that are typing furiously on their keyboards right now, I'm well aware that this was a mistake on the part of Humble Bundle. After all, I did just read the article. But the broader takeaway for me, as it should be for you, is not the fact that Humble Bundle simply made a mistake that was quickly corrected, but that these companies do in fact have the ability to take away games from your library. But I know that's not going to be sufficient enough for some people out there. You're going to say, Scribe, you're making a mountain out of a molehill, and you're exaggerating the mistake made by Humble Bundle in order to paint these companies in a negative light. You'll say that we've always known that these are licenses that can be revoked at any time, and Steam has even posted that on their website at checkout. You'll say, what were they supposed to do? Eat the price of all those misappropriated copies? And I'm saying yes. Like we just read in this article, if this was any other product, then these companies would simply have to get over it. It's not the customer's fault that Humble Bundle screwed up, and yet they're the ones being punished for it. If I went to the store and a price was improperly marked on a product, that doesn't give the company the right to come to my house a week later and demand the product back. But because we're talking about digital CD keys, those rules don't apply. It's an absurd and ridiculous argument on its face, but that's honestly not the biggest problem that I have with this situation. Now that they've proven that they do in fact have the ability to remove games from your actual Steam library, why should they be expected to honor any agreement about purchasing the title in the future? Is a company even obligated in any legal sense to furnish you with a reason for discontinuing access to these products? Of course, this game was revoked because of mishandled pricing. This time. But what if a game is, I don't know, just old? Maybe like The Crew? I seem to remember multiple complaints from many people all over the world complaining that their game was removed from their active games library to a new inactive games section. A change that made it to where this game could no longer even be downloaded or installed. What happens if you purchase one of these titles a week or even a month before a change like this occurs? Are you, as the customer, spending your hard-earned money just supposed to suck it up and say, better luck next time? Maybe the next $60 title that I purchase won't just be yanked out of my Steam library? But honestly, guys, this is the exact reason why I've started going back and purchasing physical copies for older game consoles, because I honestly want to circumvent this problem altogether. Sure, maybe I'm running the risk of hardware failure and my PS2 is probably just going to crap out in the next couple of years, but honestly, I would rather have that happen than the company physically come in and take the game away from me. It would honestly be less insulting for my hardware to break down than it would be to receive some tone-deaf letter from a corporate suit explaining how, because of a mistake on their part, I'm no longer allowed to play a game I bought. And to shoot completely straight with you guys, if it sounds like I'm a little agitated over this situation, it's because I am. This is unacceptable from any metric. I have never purchased a single Indiana Jones game, whether it was the Lego Indiana Jones titles or The Great Circle. And honestly, I've got no plans in the future to even play this title, but I would be naive to think that it would be limited to simply just this game. In my eyes, all this has done is expand upon the precedent set by the delisting of The Crew. It's another example of these companies showing that they don't care about their customers, and it also demonstrates that they're willing to penalize us for their bad practices. But anyway, guys, that's going to do it for this video, because that's all I have left to say until another example occurs. Thank you guys to everybody who has watched up to this point, and if you can, please do me a favor, hit that like button, and also subscribe so you don't miss out on any content that I've got coming up for you guys in the future. And also, please hit that comment section down below. Really, the only question that I have for you guys is this: how many more examples of this do we need before we realize collectively as gamers that these companies have gone entirely too far with their DRM protections? However, if you happen to be on the opposite side of this argument, please feel free to actually comment down below as well, because I also want to hear from you guys. But these videos aren't going to make themselves, so I gotta go, and as always, thank you guys for watching. If you liked the video, leave a like, and until next time, love you guys, safe travels.